Oh my god, I never thought I'd ever hear MGMT again. But guess who popped up on the Yo Gabba Gabba Spotify station yesterday?
She's late for baby yoga, but she's looking hella fly. Breastfeeding out in public, catching everybody's eye. With her brand new Orbit stroller and her probiotic smoothie. I hope was checking prices on that tasty vegan sushi. With that Adbusters Mac. I got dragon blood, what you wanna do, son? I got dragon blood, what you wanna do? I got dragon blood, what you wanna do, son? Cause I'm always going hard with my Dothraki crew. Daenerys be the name, and I'm setting hearts aflame when I'm burning down these villages and freeing all the slaves. Wiz Khaleesi, have you bit my dragons? My brother tried to sell me to Khal Drogo, look what happened. A bit hot-headed with that molten golden crown. I stopped the Kallus, so don't be messing with me now. Look my lover in the eye, winter's coming, so am I. I burned the witch alive, who took my son and husband's lives. But I survived so frisky, now these dragons have my back. Suitors are so frisky, and they always try to mac. Zara, Zoe, and Daxos had to lock him in a vault. Mend my way to slavers' bay, but it was not my fault. It was karmic retribution. There was no preparing them when Crisis tried to mess with the wrong Targaryen. Outsmarted him like Tyrion when I knew how Valyrian. These creatures on my shoulders, well, I think you should be fearing them. You are now watching the throne. I got dragon blood, what you wanna do, son? I got dragon blood, what you wanna do? I got dragon blood, what you wanna do, son? Cause I'm always going hard with my Dothraki crew. I got dragon blood, what you wanna do, son? I got dragon blood, what you wanna do? I got dragon blood, what you wanna do, son? Cause I'm always going hard with my Dothraki crew. The Thraki, unsullied behind me, like I'm Illuminati. It's the mother of dragons with my gigantic army. We be marching to Marine, but no, we didn't come to party. Cause they crucified the slaves and put them on the cross. Sir Jorah, please get lost. I know you think I'm hot. My schedule's kinda busy, got no time for Perrier. White girl politic, and that's Daenerys Palin. From Dorne to the Stormlands, the north and beyond, to the Westlands and Essos, I'm keeping it strong. From the Crownlands to the Reach, you know I'm getting love. To the Riverlands and back because I've got that dragon blood. So follow more clueless, I thought that you knew this, but dragons aren't people, you know we've been through this. I'm quick to burn a hater, no mercy, damage, smacking kings in the face like my name was Cersei Lannister. Burn, burn, you should gonna burn. 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 I got dragon blood, what you wanna do, son? I got dragon blood, what you wanna do? I got dragon blood, what you wanna do, son? Cause I'm always going hard with my Dothraki crew. I got dragon blood, what you wanna do, son? I got dragon blood, what you wanna do? I got dragon blood, what you wanna do, son? Cause I'm always going hard with my Dothraki crew. I got dragon blood, you should gonna burn. I got dragon blood, you should gonna burn. I got dragon blood, you should gonna burn. Cause I'm always going hard with my Dothraki crew. I got dragon blood, you should gonna burn. I got dragon blood, you should gonna burn. I got dragon blood, you should gonna burn. Cause I'm always going hard with my Dothraki crew.
Yo, this ain't the goddamn radio station! Y'all just sit there and wait!
Dat Boy. I miss you, bro. There go that boy, yeah, he used to be my homie. He doesn't come around these days, I'm feeling kinda lonely. Was it something that I said? I don't get it. He spends his nights unfortunate and his mornings up on Reddit. Can't take it personal when he's on the go. Unicycle vertical, rolling out the dough. Still got the photo on my fridge from graduation. Pollywogs and cap and gown, you were my inspiration. I guess the metamorphosis had to happen. The fans all needed you. On YouTube they be clapping. When they see you rolling up, classic CGI. Proud of my little bro, just know I saw that light inside. You looked up to me back when we were tadpoles, but now you won't return my calls, I'm getting kinda sad, bro. You left the lily pad, I know you had to go, but it hurt you never visit and it hurt you never wrote. There go that boy, I hope you know your friends and family love you, it's time that you came home. There go that boy, you're always on the go, the lily pad is waiting, bring that unicycle home. There go that boy, I hope you know your friends and family love you, it's time that you came home. There go that boy, always on the go, the lily pad is waiting, bring that unicycle home.
Look, I was just a tadpole.
Hello. Yo, John Favreau, what's up? No. Yo, calm down. Calm down, man. Come on now. No, I'm not going to talk about that. Nah, man. No, you know the deal, right? Nah. You just got to make the Nerdvengers canon in the MCU multiverse. I don't need a big universe. I just need one of them. There's a lot of universes. Don't be selfish. Okay. And then how big's the shield check? How big is that shield check? No. I need another 0. No. Before the decimal. Alright, cool. It's organic the way it happened, the exact same way that I started rapping. Was just fun, but we still laughing. And the journey's even better than what I imagined. It's all joy, no hassle. I keep going back like Mario to Bowser's Castle. Cause at the end, I'm still nerdcore. It's a me. Even a term you heard or... Hold on to your butts, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get started very shortly. Unless we don't get up to 100 likes. I need 100 likes.
Sophisticated than just martial arts. Students start with simple climbing techniques and handling standard weapons. The ninja also develop ninjutsu, the art of the ninja. Some of my mind over matter. I'm machine flank when I'm going up the ladder. Ninja. Take a few spills while you elevate your skills. Aim for the fame, it's for the thrills. Go ninja, go.
Nerdvengers! Let's get it poppin'. John, in all seriousness, if you're watching this, don't sue, it's for fun. Coming in hot. Chat! Chat, you ruined it! Guy ruined it, man. Guy ruined it. Anyway, what's going on, Nerdvengers? Hola, mi amigos. How's everybody doing today? How are we doing today? Hope you're doing well. Should be a good stream today. Spoiler free. Spoiler free for no particular reason. Spoiler free show today. We're going to have Lord Kallus. How many of you guys, let me know in chat right away. I'd like to know. How many of you in chat saw Lord Kallus's video on the main channel yesterday? How many of you saw it? You let me know in chat right now. And if you didn't see it, you probably just want to lie and say that you saw it, because I'm going to get pissed. I'm going to get pissed off. I'm going to get really upset. In fact, I'm already upset. I'm really upset already. Cool. Looks like a couple people saw it. That's good. You should check it out if you have not, of course. We love Kallus over here, man. Kallus, always on point with his Legends knowledge, with his knowledge of lore, and his knowledge of the new canon lore as well. He's just an astute Sith. And so, we're very happy to have him as the official, how should we say it, keeper of the lore and Legends archives here at Nerdvengers Tower. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. And Lord Kallus, he's coming by the stream today. And we're going to talk about Star Wars. Talk about Filoni Verse. Talk about a lot of things that are happening. The potential for things to happen. It's going to be really cool. Otherwise, show notes, ladies and gentlemen. Show notes. Let's pause the music for just a second. Now, look, I'm not going to get into spoilers today. Okay. However, I will talk briefly about the situation with the spoilers. Okay? I'll talk about the situation. I can talk about that without talking about the spoilers. Okay. Okay, here's how we're gonna handle it. Let me explain something. Number one, if you are aware of the spoilers, if you know about the spoilers, either by way of my videos in the stream I did yesterday or by way of one of the Reddit posts that came out there, maybe by way of the heavy spoiler video, some people are telling me these spoilers have been out there for a while. And I'm like, what? Okay, well, I didn't see them. Anyway, so these spoilers are apparently been out there for a while, regardless of how you came into contact with these spoilers. Stop talking about them. Basically, that's what I'm going to tell you. Not amongst yourselves, but amongst other fans. I think it's really damaging, and it is not the Nerdvenger way to have that kind of knowledge or to know those sort of things or to think that you know those sort of things and then go out and try to ruin the experience for other people, right? Monday night did the stream with Theory. I thought it was, as always, a dope-ass stream. But one of the things that was so cool was Theory's very much against the spoilers, personally. He doesn't want them. He doesn't want to know. And I think, again, not to be a broken record here, but we have to learn as fans how to live together. We have to learn how to enjoy the things we enjoy in the separate and distinct ways we enjoy them without interfering with the way that other people enjoy their stuff. So let me explain something to you. If I see a Nerdvenger or a Brokevenger out there talking flagrantly or spoiling what is happening in this episode, you will be banned from this channel forever. You will be banned from our Discord. You will be banned from our Twitter. You will be banned from our YouTube channels. There might be some other stuff going on there. So let me just say this again. If I see a Nerdvenger or a Brokevenger or one of y'all out there talking flagrantly or spoiling this stuff, I am going to come down on you hard. That's all. So please don't do that. And please don't take away or attempt to take away the enjoyment for other people. I don't think that's cool. Now, as far as what I'm going to do with some of the information that I have and some of the things that I think I know, I'm going to do one more video that's talking about spoilers before the episode drops. I will drop that video tomorrow. It's going to cover some of the same stuff we talked about in the stream yesterday, some of the stuff we talked about in the video, but it's not going to go deep, okay? And I'm going to just be completely honest with you guys. That is completely out of respect for Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Period. That's it. I respect these guys a lot. A lot. And I do not want to tarnish or affect the hard work that they are putting in to create what should be a very awesome experience for everybody, regardless of what happens, whether it's true, whether it's not true. Friday is going to be awesome. Thursday is going to be awesome. But again, as far as what I'm going to do, I'm going to do one more video tomorrow talking about a big spoiler thing before the episode. However, I am creating a plethora of content that, assuming the information is true, will release in a sequence very quickly after the episode comes out. So the whole world will be reeling and trying to figure out what they just watched, and I'll drop 3 videos that explain all kinds of different aspects and speculate about them, okay? So, if you are into spoiler culture and you want all the goodies, you're just going to have to wait. Friday, after the episode drops, Friday, we'll have a rolling series of videos that will come out, and then we'll all be able to enjoy all of this stuff together. Okay? Cool. Good talk. Now, let's do show notes real quick, and then we'll get into talking about this. We'll get Kallus in here, and we'll talk about all of this, okay? Number one, of course, the most important thing tomorrow night after dark. Al and Lavis will be taking you guys for a ride starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I actually don't know if Al and Lavis will be talking about the spoilers or not. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll talk about some of the stuff that I won't talk about. We'll see. We'll see. Regardless, they're going to do that thing. And then that night, tomorrow night, 3 a.m., up early in the morning, talking about nerdy shit. Come on by to the Den of Nerds Live, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can't believe it's going to be that early, but it's true. We're doing it, 4 a.m. Come on by. If you're a member, you can watch the episode with us. We'll do a watch party. We'll watch the episode with us. You'll get our live reaction. And then at 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will go into a stream where we'll be talking all about, well, Ahsoka mostly, probably. So that's going to be really, really cool. Make sure you come on by for that. Friday, they'll be rolling videos. This weekend, you will get the videos for the Nerdvengers, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Got a little super chat coming in. Let's check it out. Appreciate the lockdown on spoilers. Sucked not being able to watch the stream yesterday. Praying Disney knows and drops it early. Please use just Mando in the thumbnail for tomorrow's vid. I can explain what the thumbnail will look like tomorrow. Well, maybe I shouldn't. Oh, I'm in sort of a awkward spot. Okay, look. I'm going to talk about Baby Yoda tomorrow. That's all I'll say. So there may be a Baby Yoda on the thumbnail with the big words, Baby Yoda's big secret. Oh. Oh. That'll be pretty cool. That'll be pretty cool. Okay. I think it's time. See if we can get Kallus on the line here. You know, the way I want to do this is I want to just talk to Kallus a little bit about the Filoni Verse and just things that are going on here. But we will save plenty of time for Q&A for all of you. Yo, Kallus, if you're watching, man, I'm like, what is... Don't you have a different name on Discord or something? I feel like I can never find you on Discord. Is it your real name? What's your name on Discord, man? Hit me up. Pop that out. Hey, happy birthday, Bashti! It's probably like the third or fourth time you've had to sort of subtle hint to me, and I apologize, I just missed it. So happy birthday to Bashti. Let's get some hearts, nerdy hearts, in the chat for Bashti. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I think, well, give me just a second here, ladies and gentlemen. We should be getting Kallus in here. I know he had a thing kind of come up, but I think he's freed up by now. Let me, What a weird week, dude. What a weird week. How y'all doing? What's on your guys' mind? You know, what are you thinking about? You're a weird week. Yeah, that's not wrong. You're not wrong, Alex. Can't believe you lost to Gilo in that 101 last night. God. Speculation? Yeah, there's a lot of speculation on my mind for sure. Did you see that bat cave? I did see that bat cave. It looks pretty cool. Just playing with battle droids? Right on. Is you right wing? I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. Josh, did you pre-order the Mando's helmet on Amazon? No, I did not. But I should, actually. That's going to be really cool. You know what I did? I actually got my own set of like Mandalorian armor. I'm like making some cosplay. I might do like a little bit of like a shooting of a little fan film or something like that. Oh, okay, cool, gotcha. All right, let's give Kallus a call. See if we can get him in here. Hopefully we're good. I always forget where Kallus is at in the States. I could change the region on the Discord call.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you. I can't see you quite yet, though.
Yeah, no. What's going on? It was doing this last time.
Yeah, where are you at in the States? Are you in the West Coast?
No, I'm in New York.
Well, then, yeah, I don't understand. We'll get it sorted, man. We'll figure it out for next time. Because I definitely want to have you on camera.
Yeah.
But anyways, brother, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well. It's kind of an interesting week, you know. Very excited about this episode. You know, some spoiler stuff going on, trying to kind of navigate the waters, you know, with that.
I'm like Theory with that. I don't like the spoilers.
Yeah.
I stay away from them.
Yeah, no. Hey, and you know what? The thing is, man, and I sort of touched on it. Oh, you know what? They probably can't hear you good. Wait, go ahead. Give me a little more audio. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Okay,
Check.
We're good. Okay. So the thing with that is too, man, it's like I totally get it, right? And for people that don't want spoiled, again, it's like one of those things where it's like I think we need to be able to respect that, right? So like when I was finding some of this stuff out, I was like hitting Theory up and I was like a friggin' schoolboy, dude. Like I was like so excited. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, like I was like this, that. And I could kind of tell in his answers that he wasn't as hyped as I was, you know?
Yeah.
And then like I just kind of, you know, we kind of just started talking about it and I was like, nah, man, like he's right. Like you just can't assume that everybody likes their Star Wars the same way or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if it's something that is, if it slips, I might dive into it a little bit, but I try my best to stay away from spoilers for, especially for the big episodes or for the big movies, just so that I can just form my own opinion. I just like to go in and just be fresh as I'm sitting and watching it and take it all in, and not expect or anticipate anything that may or may not come to fruition, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally get that. You know, it's funny. I don't know if this is true or not, but it's sort of like a notion I have about it where did you ever go to film school or anything like that?
No. I
I think with people that went to film school, because I went to film school and a lot of the people, like, honestly, it's weird. A lot of the people, well, I mean, I guess it's not that weird. A lot of the people that work in Hollywood in one way or another, even if they're in Atlanta, they went to film school or they've been involved in that process, right? And so for people like me, I think it's a little bit more, I don't know, like we're just used to it. Because like when you're making a movie or when you're with other filmmakers, you know everything. Like, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know the first idea they had, you know what that idea became when it was refined, you know why it's on the editing floor now, you know things that other people would never know. And to me, it doesn't take away my enjoyment at all, right? Like, the classic example is Endgame. So for me, I knew pretty much everything about Endgame. Okay. Like, literally everything. And yet, when I sat down to watch the movie, I was completely like taken to another place. Like and I think if cinema is such an interesting tool, and I think when done right, dude, it just transports you. Like, and
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And there was this other one too that I always think of. It was when first time I was watching Force Awakens, right? And when Poe Dameron died initially, right? I thought he was gone. I was like, oh, this dude is gone. And then when he came back later on, it surprised me. And then after the movie, I had realized I had already known he was coming back from leaks. Yeah, and from the trailer.
That's why it didn't spoil it for me, because I remember him saying that he was initially supposed to die and they extended his role. Yeah. But for example, with Endgame, I mean, that makes perfect sense, because sometimes what you read doesn't necessarily translate to what you see on
100%.
the screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when that is just an experience, you can't, reading it may not necessarily give you the same goosebumps as it does when you look and you see, oh my goodness, this is an experience that I'm witnessing right here. So
dude,
yeah, sometimes that does happen.
No, I think that's so well put, because you can't I mean, that literally you can't, right? You simply cannot replicate that with like two-dimensional words on a two-dimensional page. Like it's not going to create the same, like the way that our senses take in film is so interesting. It's such an interesting phenomenon. And I've actually been getting into some really weird stuff of high-level cognition, and there's some behavioral psychologists that are like dropping different molecules into like the forebrain and the deep brain and watching how it all reacts. And there's some really interesting stuff where like almost universally human beings will respond to heights in VR, meaning like if we put you in a simulated environment and we put you up high, like you've got shit in your brain that is not going to let you realize this is a simulation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And film does that a lot too. It brings us into that like kind of very visceral way of experiencing a thing or going through a thing, and you simply can't recreate that with words.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Disney World and done that? What is it? The Star Wars VR, the Void. Have you ever done that?
I have not. Is it awesome?
Listen, it's awesome. It's like $30 a person. And listen, like you know that you're in a room. You know that there's no danger, but the effects, the wind blowing, it's like you're in moose. I don't want to spoil it for you, as I just said. I don't like spoilers myself, but like you have, if I can, just this one.
Yeah, dude. Hey, look, man, you're talking to the right guy. Tell me.
You're walking across this bridge, and there's lava below you, and it just feels like, if I trip, I'm getting ready to fall into this damn lava, and your senses can't put that together. Like, you're safe, man. You're on a solid ground right now, but you're feeling as you're walking through it, like, damn it, if I misstep, I'm dead. Dead. It's just well done.
Yeah, man. That kind of stuff is fascinating to me. It kind of brings in some deeper ideas about like, well, how much of the stuff that we think is going on is actually going on. But anyway, we can save that for a later clip. So let me ask you, man. I think the last time you were on, okay. Have you been on once or twice?
Twice.
Okay, yeah. So I think the one time was we were talking about you took us to school the one time. You were basically like, let me tell y'all, and you went into some deep lore stuff. You were explaining Bane. Yes, Darth Bane. And then the other one, we were talking about the Filoni Verse, right?
Yes.
Right. And so one of the reasons I really like talking, I really enjoy talking to you about this sort of stuff, is because you come from the school of Legends. You come from the school of the EU. That is your wheelhouse. And so I always find it interesting to talk to someone with your perspective, especially as the Filoni Verse begins to sort of unveil itself to people as this kind of retelling of some EU stuff, right? I mean, that's kind of what it feels like at this point. Would you say?
Yeah. I retelling, he's going back and he's integrating. He's doing a lot of bridging the gaps, making it okay, or making it look, polishing up what Disney has done to fit what we're used to from the EU. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good way
I just think he's doing a good job with the Mandalorian. I'm still questioning what their intentions are with some of these newer comics that are sort of diving into that time period between Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, because they're sort of not rewriting, but filling in that time period.
Yeah.
In these comics. And so I want to know where they're actually taking this new lore that they're adding. It's
yeah, I think that's a really good point. I'll tell you that it's been a little interesting to watch it's like, because some of this stuff is being canceled or delayed. So I know that a lot of the stuff being associated with the Rise of Skywalker is being canceled or delayed. And I can't help but think, and again, this is just thinking, but I can't help but think there could be, because of a potential change in direction that happened sometime this year, there could be a tightening up of what originally may have been a mandate of kind of more or less do what you want with this, and is now more like, we've got this plan that we need you to fit into. And, you know, that's sort of speculation, but it's informed speculation, and I feel like it's possible that the attitude that was given over the past couple of years, which was, you know, a little bit more of carte blanche, and then basically it was like, you do it, and then we'll figure it out, right? And now it's more like, we've got it figured out. You're going to have to do this. Like, you're going to have to work within the confines of our macro story, which to me is personally how it always should have been. But what do you think about that? Like, do you think that's possible, that basically what we're talking about here is like John and Dave kind of saying like, hey, we want to do this, and then they're changing things, including the comics? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they should be offered the opportunity to right the wheel, to right the ship. We were off course. Of course, Kennedy had that famous statement where she said there was no content to pull from when we have all of this Legends lore that we could have pulled from. So they could have been writing this ship a long time ago. As soon as they saw that, oh man, these people are not as responsive as we thought they were going to be to this. It wasn't. I mean, the writing was on the wall right after The Last Jedi. Right. You know, yes, granted, there are those that do enjoy the sequel trilogy. I get it, and I don't fault anybody for their for what they get joy out of, you know. Right. Yeah. But as far, or with respect to the lore, it just took, in my opinion, a far left or right, whichever way you want to say, turn. Yeah. And I see right now Favreau trying to just bring that back to where it was. That's why I love seeing that he always states, George Lucas's story.
Star Wars by George. Yeah.
You know, that.
I noticed that the very first episode, the way it was worded, it didn't necessarily feel like underhanded towards like Kathy or the sequel people. But it certainly rang with a little bit of a different tone. You know what I mean? Than what I had seen before. Yeah. I'll tell you, man, I think you're spot on there as far as letting them sort of correct the wheel. And if I were Kathy or some of the people more involved at the top, I would, especially as some of the stuff more or less gets proven to be the goods. You know, I think Mando's numbers right now speak for themselves. I think the social media impact of it is ridiculous. I think after this episode, things are going to get really, really crazy. And again, it's just fun. You know, one of the things I continue to say this is we are in a much better place now than we were 8-9 months ago as a fandom. You know, I feel like even the people that have a problem with the sequel trilogy, it's not that they're necessarily getting over it. It's just that some time has now been put between it. The edge is off. I don't personally care as much as I did 8-9 months ago, you know?
Well, there's no fixing it. So It's like yeah, exactly. There's no way to, it stands with our lore right now. So there's to continue to, harp on that. We just have to just give me some new and some good stuff. But the one problem though, Josh, that I want to make sure that we're not glossing over also is that they maintain that continuity with what they are doing, because even what's his name, Cobb Vanth, for example, that was a great episode, right? Mm-hmm. But the way that he acquired the armor is not the way that he acquired the armor in the Aftermath novel. So it's.
So can you speak to that exact difference? Because the way I recall it in the novel, it doesn't seem that different to me. Can you tell me specifically like what was different about it?
So the difference was that they did keep the fact that the mining guilds and everybody is coming in and taking over with the power vacuum of after Jabba died, right? So they did maintain that, right?
Yeah.
But so Cobb and this representative, if you will, from one of these mining colonies, he's trying to gain entrance with the Jawas to, I don't know if it was the Sandcrawler or if it was a vault. I can't remember exactly, but he's trying to gain entrance. So Cobb is there, and Cobb actually works the deal out for him to get in, right?
Okay.
And then Cobb goes in with him, right? This guy, he sees a treasure trove of findings, right? Scavengings. And he sees Boba's armor. Cobb is behind him. Cobb sees him see the armor. He turns around with it. He's like, I'm gonna take that. And the dude is like, no, you're not. He's like, I'm taking this back to the to his mining colony. And Cobb is, he goes for his blaster, and he's like, listen, we can basically it's a standoff.
Okay.
He doesn't he ends up shooting the guy and taking the armor. He doesn't kill the guy because he wants the guy to go back to the mining colonies, if you will, and tell them that there's a new sheriff in town.
Sure.
Exactly. So, and then he dons the armor to represent himself as the marshal. And then the next time we see him within that trilogy, it's sort of that same situation where he's the marshal of that town. It's a gated facility, though, or a gated town, and he's got a Twi'lek as his sidekick. So that was the only difference, was that he actually acquired that almost violently, and maybe that was the reason why they chose not to do it. But well,
also too, and look, I'm gonna just sort of play devil's advocate a little bit, but I will also acknowledge that, yeah, you're absolutely right, and that is a problem. And I think that, we want consistency, for sure, man. We want consistency. Okay, so let's talk about that in a second. First, I will say it's possible because Cobb is the person that's telling that story, that much like Luke in The Last Jedi, it's that unreliable narrator, right?
True.
So he's telling this story, and there could possibly even be a reason as to why he is hiding the true nature of that exchange. We don't necessarily know, but the thing with the gated community and Twi'lek, yeah, that's pretty I just don't see how they get away with that. But I'll tell you this is just for me personally, and I think other people have the right to have their opinion about this as well, but I think in this transition from where we're going right now, which was basically almost like, ironically, Wild West with Lucasfilm, and now there is, again, ironically, a new sheriff in town. You know what I'm saying? So now that some of this stuff is happening, I mean, can't we maybe forgive a little bit of the bumps in the road as we move into
absolutely.
the new transition? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that it doesn't take away from it. It was just something that I was like, oh, that's not the way that happened. But it didn't make me dislike that episode at all. I mean, I love The Mandalorian. I think it's great Star Wars. Granted, that I wasn't a fan of Episode 10.
You don't like Frog Lady? Oh my God!
It's not. It's not really about Frog Lady. I did appreciate that. They brought the Kryknas in, and I did appreciate that connection to Rebels, right?
Yeah.
And then that sort of made me speculate, okay, now that they've brought these spiders in, the first person that we actually see meet these spiders is Sabine. And so is this sort of a prelude to us seeing or meeting Sabine, in the future? So I did appreciate that. It just kind of slowed the pace because episode 9 was killer. 11 and 12 were killer, and that just kind of slowed the pace for me.
Yeah, and I can see that. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
And I think, here's the other thing too, is that, dude, okay, so just to sort of circle the point that you're trying to make with this, I do see your side of it because, again, here's the real crazy part. As a fan, or as a company, if you are asking a consumer to make these purchases, the presumption or the value proposition, right, to the consumer is by purchasing this book and reading it, your experience with the Star Wars brand and your experience with the other pieces of content is going to be enriched, right?
Yeah.
And so I
absolutely.
100% agree with you in the sense that if they can't live up to that agreement, then they shouldn't make that promise. That's bad business, right? And so I'm with you as far as like, yo, figure that shit out, Disney. Figure it out. But I'm also willing to like, okay, you know, we're moving into some new things. Like, I'm going to let a little bit of stuff go in the transition because I really think once these dudes get in pocket and they're like really, you know, steamrolling ahead with this, we are going to be in a much, much better place as a fandom. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Like things like when the Mon Calamari was wearing the sweater from JCPenney, like that didn't bother that didn't bother me. What was the other thing about that episode people didn't like?
I'm not sure. I look, the sweater thing is so the sweater thing is funny. That I thought that was awesome.
To me, that didn't bother me, but I just want them to make sure that, especially since we're creating new lore, let's just keep it consistent.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, agreed.
But like you said, that the unreliable narrative, that could be very true, because why would he want to tell him how he acquired it if that's not actually how he acquired it?
Yeah, right?
You know?
Like, oh, I gunned him down.
Want...
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and then all of a sudden Mando's like, pew, pew, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. So, man, I would love to know some of your speculation on, I mean, because here's the thing. Okay, let me just start with this. Do you think that is Snoke in the last episode, in the vats? Do you think that is Snoke?
No.
Okay, can you explain that to me? Because I can't wrap my head. Well, okay, just explain it to me.
I just don't think that that's Snoke. I think that I don't know. I don't see that tying into Palpatine, whereas because this seems like Dr. Pershing is working directly with Moff Gideon. Could Moff Gideon be working with Palpatine, and ultimately we will be seeing Sidious? That's the only way that I would speculate that within that vault we have Snoke, because we know that Snoke is a Palpatine puppet. I think that it's completely different, that this is Pershing working with Gideon. Gideon is trying to create, because we have two different kinds of Dark Troopers now. You have the Dark Troopers from the game, right? Which we had Phase Zero, which this could be, even though it's probably not, because these look more like they are the droids. But you have Phase Zero from the Dark Troopers, where they actually were more cyborgs, where they were
okay, that's the one I was thinking. I was trying to explain this to Theory, but I don't know enough about it. But I had just been told that there was a cyborg version, so that's the version 0 then, yeah.
Exactly, that's Phase Zero from the Dark Troopers. So they're cyborgs, not completely droids. These at the end, along the wall, those look like they were completely droids, which would have made them Phase 3, I believe. For the Dark Troopers, because those were the ones that were in black. But then from the comic, you have the Dark Troopers who were actually stormtroopers that were that used the dark. I don't know if they used the dark side of the Force, or they were just emboldened by the dark side of the Force. But so those were humans. So we have those two possibilities. Could it be Dark Troopers and it's related to the droids that were on the wall, or is it something entirely different? But I just do not think that there is the connection with Snoke just because of Palpatine. I see Moff Gideon at this point acting on his own. I could be wrong, but I see Moff Gideon as, acting on his own. So
right. Okay, so I'm going to try to be careful here, because there's some stuff that I know, but then there's a lot of stuff that I don't know that I'm speculating about. But it's kind of tough because it's almost unfair in some ways. Do you know what I mean? Like with some of the speculation that I have. But I'll just try to be very vague. How would you feel if you were not only wrong, but like super wrong?
I'd be okay with it, man. That doesn't bother me. I in fact, sometimes that's even more exciting when you're like, oh, that came out of left field. Like, oh shit, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, so no, that wouldn't bother me, man.
Yeah, I'd be super into it too. And I don't know for sure, but it feels like this connection between Snoke and Baby Yoda, and the connection between Baby Yoda to Palpatine may be way crazier than we first thought. And also,
see, the only reason, I mean, you probably know something, so don't tell me.
Yeah.
But my only thought, because the way I see Baby Yoda at 50 years old, right?
Yeah.
And we're in the time period that's 7 years after Return of the Jedi, right? So him being 50 years old, if he is of natural birth, he would have been identified by the Jedi during this time period. This is the time period just before the Phantom Menace, right? And so if that's the case, if he was identified by the Jedi during that time period, they sought him out, they brought him, he should be a youngling. He should have been and undergone training. He should have been identified by the Jedi and brought to the temple during this time period.
Yeah. Should have been, huh? All right, so
come on, Josh. Come on, Josh.
Yeah. So here's what I'll tell you. No, you're right, and that line of thinking. Okay, so let me ask you this. Again, I'm gonna just try to be vague. So let me ask you this. So you think that just in like sort of your theory side of your brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there must be some other stuff that is making you think, but no. So what's the stuff that's making you think, but no?
The fact that you mean with the child?
Yeah, with like the child. So it's like you think. So okay, so you think he should have been trained.
Should have been.
Yeah, and so you. Oh man, I gotta try to figure out how to word this. So. Why do you think he wasn't if he wasn't?
I don't. You want me to speculate now?
Yeah. Just speculation. I guess what I'm really asking is, so yeah, I'm seeing your brain go on this trail that, yeah, like I was on this trail too. But then there was a distinct reason that I was like, yeah, but they're not going to do that on The Mandalorian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you think?
So there's a possibility that he was either identified and then brought to somebody else?
I mean, that's possible, right? Yeah, that seems like it's possible, yeah.
Come on, Josh.
Hey, that seems like it's possible. That's all I can say. Like I guess what I'm asking is with regards man, it's tough cuz like you're thinking the exact same way I think most fans should be thinking about this. And when I was thinking about this, I was like, man, yeah, this, but okay. Here's what I'll do. Let's try to go in a different direction so we don't have to stay here. So my original thing with it was, bro, this baby must be some kind of creation from Camino. Maybe he's some kind of weird experiment himself. Maybe this, that, second, and the third, right?
And I was always hoping that he wasn't a clone.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, yeah. Well, that was something that I was thinking. I was like, okay, there's got to be something about him because you're right. Like 50 years, that's so weird. He would have been around at the time of the prequels, right? Seemingly, if he was this strong on the Force, he would have been identified. He would have been, brought to the temple, seemingly. And yet, we see no evidence of that. And the other thing that's really interesting is, like, he's 50 years old, but he seems really adolescent, right? Like
very.
Yeah, so that's kind of confusing too. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, did somebody deny him? I don't know, because even with natural, I mean, I have 2 kids and you don't necessarily have to teach them for them to still develop. And he doesn't seem to have developed beyond a toddler's years. And if you take what is he? He's 50. The species is about 900 years, right? So does that still keep him at a toddler's age?
That's what I think that's the thing. We don't know enough about Yoda and his species to know if where Baby Yoda is at right now is like par for the course. Is this unnatural? Is he underdeveloped? Is he overdeveloped? How does that work? Yeah, we don't have enough context there, for that. I think I'll just say that I think some big reveals are coming for that character and for the wider Filoni verse. Man, let me ask you this, because I think there's been a segment of fans out there, and I'm curious if you fall into this camp or not. There's been a segment of fans out there that actually are not enjoying the sort of abundance of lore and stuff from Filoni's animated shows, and they were like, I've heard people say like, oh, well, I always thought The Mandalorian would open up and scale, but I can't believe it's happening this quickly. It doesn't feel right. It feels inorganic. I'm not a fan. So what do you think of that? Like, where are you at with that criticism?
No, so that's a great question. I enjoy the interconnections, right? And I like seeing broader aspects of the lore brought into the show. What I don't want them to do is lose sight of the Mandalorian lore, though. So that was what I'm happy seeing. That's why I was glad to see Bo-Katan come, and even though she is part of Filoni's world with Clone Wars, but that still dives into Mandalorian lore, which is what I was excited to see with this show, because though the Sith and though the Jedi are my favorite part of Star Wars, I still love all of Star Wars. So I love seeing the gritty part, the dirty part, if you're going with the smugglers and the scoundrels. I love seeing the Mandalorians, I mean, when you go back to KOTOR, they're just as important
they're very
as the Sith and the Jedi, in Star Wars. So that was what I was most excited about with this show, is that let's bring Mandalorian lore to the forefront, because if you don't play those games, then then you sort of seek it out on your own, you won't be exposed to that lore, and their lore is so rich. And so bringing in Bo-Katan and her representing House Kreese, and then whether or not Bo-Katan is going to choose to uphold her sister's ideals, because remember, she was part of Death Watch because Death Watch subscribed to the old ways. Now, she was probably more in line with the old Mandalorian ways than she was Death Watch, but she still subscribed to the old ways. And so will Bo-Katan will she lead Mandalore as a new Mandalorian, like her sister, the Duchess, or is she going to take it back to the old ways? So that's what I'm excited to see with her and how they brought her into the show. So no, I'm not displeased with them mixing and interconnecting the other shows with this one. I just hope that they stay true to the Mandalorian. Let's not lose sight of Mandalorian.
Yeah, I think it's a great answer, and there's a lot of great stuff you said in there. So the one thing I'll touch on first is the idea of bringing Mandalorians more into prominence for the mainstream. I'm telling you, I could not have imagined this scenario, right? The Mandalorian show being announced, I had thought 100% that Mandalorians, Mandalorian lore, all of that stuff would remain a very niche, very unknown, non-mainstream nerdy thing. And if you would have told me 5 years ago that the most popular show on the planet would be about a Mandalorian that doesn't even take his helmet off, and the fact that we'd be building this new crazy love for Mandalorians. Dude, people are saying this is the way. People wearing Mandalorian shirts, people cosplaying as Mandalorians, like little people, old people, all kinds of people, bro. Like, this is crazy to me. Like, I never in a million years would have thought that they would have been able to bring the Mandalorians to that place where they were at for people like you and me. We knew, but a lot of people
Absolutely.
didn't. So that's number one, and I would tell you that I'm forever grateful to John and Dave for doing that. I think it's really, really cool. The other thing that was cool that you said was like, you know, getting that stuff that you had thought about as Mandalorian lore and sort of par for the course with Mandalorian, you're very excited to see that be brought in. I'll tell you, Kallus, that season 1, I was sort of quietly, like, I liked season 1, but I was sort of quietly disappointed, okay? Now, some of the people that have been following me for a long time, they'll sort of know about this, but I had really anticipated the show being a lot more like Game of Thrones, potentially being on Mandalore with, like, the conflict between the Concord Dawn Mandalorians and having a true, like, almost feudal system, all these different houses, you know, biting for power and that sort of a structure. That's what I had anticipated. And so when The Mandalorian became a lone gunslinger on the rim, I was disappointed. I was like, man, that's cool, but, like, that ain't Mandalore. Like, that's not what I want, right? And so it's crazy to see that we might be heading towards that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's what I'm excited. I'm excited to see that if what Bo is actually going to do. First, how she's going to acquire the Darksaber.
Yeah.
I'm so interested in seeing that. And then what she's going to do, how she's going. Is she going to put out the beacon to bring all Mandalorians back home? You know, is she going to continue to try to scour the galaxy, or is she just going to take her little clan, you know, and then head back and then hope people start to trickle in? You know, what is the idea behind that? So, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot to go for the Mandalorian future, man.
Dude, there is so much they could do. You're right. Like, what is Bo going to do? I mean, I think right now most of us are kind of assuming that she'll be able to unite everybody. And I'm really getting the feeling, especially since I watched your lore video, you know, in the old Mandalore and the difference between the old Mandalorians and the Death Watch, I think, is really interesting. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Jango comes from, like, he's one of the new Mandalorians, right? Like, but why was he on? This is what I don't understand. What's the deal with Jango? No. Because he's on Concord Dawn, right?
Yeah. So, well, and this is where it kind of gets convoluted because you have a mix of canon versus legends.
Okay.
You know, so yes, he was supposed to have been born on Concord Dawn, but it has not been verified, if you will. So that's what he claims. So he was born on Concord Dawn. So Jango Fett was actually more of the old Mandalorian way. He was exiled. So with the old Mandalorians, he didn't believe in, he didn't follow the new Mandalorian way. And that was your Duchess Satine. They were more political. They were more inclusive, if you will. They wanted to be more involved in galactic politics, that sort of thing. Whereas the old Mandalorians, opposed to the Death Watch, old Mandalorians just believed that, you know, that they were bounty hunters, that they were mercs, that they believed that they were warriors.
Right.
You know,
whereas then you're too, right?
Well, no, not necessarily. The Death Watch were more of the conquerors.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So,
so the old so basically, like, old Mandalorians decided they could live their warrior culture separate from Mandalore's new identity and be able to. It would almost be like, okay, like, I would just take it to something I know, which is hillbilly people, right? So, if you had a bunch of people that were hunters, okay, let's say maybe, and I think you actually do see this a little bit, maybe even some military folks, right? Some ex-soldiers that's just their culture. That's what they were growing up. They grew up maybe hunting and they went to war. They're soldiers, you know, that after that's all done, they can't live the warrior life anymore, and they sort of put that energy into something else, whether it be collecting guns, whether it be gamesmanship out in the wild, et cetera, that they sort of find a way to put that passion to use maybe is that kind of what happened with the old Mandalorians?
Yes. Well, yes, that's it. Almost absolutely what happened. So you have the Civil War, which happened, right? I think it was 44 years before the Battle of Yavin, something like that. And that's where the Duchess Satine was. She was moved into position, right, as the ruler of the new Mandalorians, and she then exiled the Death Watch and the old Mandalorians to Concordia, and it was there that they separated and became their two different sects. And you had some of the old Mandalorians who just went out into the galaxy and found work as hunters and found work as mercs and so on and so forth. And that's why I thought that when Bo says to Din Djarin that he's a child of the Watch, it's kind of odd because, okay, so does that mean that are the children of the Watch part of Death Watch? Because we see in the, what is that, the last episode or the second to last episode in season 1, when Din Djarin has the flashbacks and we see that
he gets rescued
he gets rescued by Death Watch, exactly. And so because they do subscribe to the old ways, but they're more violent. But these guys, especially in their covert, do not seem as violent as would Death Watch be. You know what I'm saying? So are they a completely different sect? Are they the children of Death Watch? Because yes, they were founded by, but then they went off on their own and sort of still subscribe to the old Mandalorian ways. And that's why they're not Death Watch, but they're the children of Death Watch.
Yeah, I like that. I kind of feel like maybe, it all hinges on what the Great Purge is exactly. And how did Gideon do that? Did he glass the whole planet? Did he just occupy the planet? What exactly happened? But I think what the Watch will end up being is a combination of the Death Watch Mandalorians with maybe some of the Concordia Mandalorians. And so essentially, like, they create a new religion that's not Death Watch or old Mandalorian. And its whole idea is just to preserve the culture and to survive. And that's what the whole way is about, right? Like, this is the way. That's why they hide their numbers. I mean, Mandalorians, you could see it. Like, that Vizsla hated it. Now we hide our numbers. He hates it. Yeah. Like, they hate that shit. So I think that's probably what it'll end up being, is like, that's a hybrid religion from Mandalorians that was sort of created as they were it was like the Christians in Rome. You know what I mean? Like, where they did the little fish. Like, that's where that little fish symbol comes from, I think. It was like the secret. It wasn't a cross, but it was like a sign that, like, oh, like, you can get down if you're a Christian over here. You won't get killed. So, I think that's my take on it. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to get into a little Q&A, my friend? You want to do a little question?
Yeah.
See what these people are talking? All right, cool, guys. So we're going to get into Q&A. Feel free to drop your super chats in. We will answer every single super chat that comes in. But if you don't have any loot, don't worry about it. Just drop in your questions. We'll answer some questions directly from the chat as well. I want to try to scroll up here. Let's see. Jonathan Velasquez says, Lord Kallus, appreciate your knowledge. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, a little bit of love. And then I think the other one was from, I think we already got the other one handled here. Okay, let's see what people want to talk about. Oh, and no spoilers. No spoilers in the Q&A today, guys. I'm not going to answer any spoilers questions, so don't even ask them. You got a couple days. Everybody just hold on.
Yeah, I just want to be excited. I just want to be smacked in the face.
Bro, it's going to be like Christmas. It's going to be like the Super Bowl. It's crazy. Like, it's going to be very, very exciting. People are going to be blown away for sure.
Wow, man.
Let's see here. Is there a possibility that we can see all Mandalorians unite in the final battle and change "This is the way" to "We are the way"? Maybe. Is there any precedence for this "We are the way"? Like, what's he referring to there? Is there something from Legends with that?
No, I don't know off top. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I appreciate the question. I think it's possible that yeah, it's possible, but I don't know. Ahsoka is genderless? Yeah, I don't think so. Pretty sure she's a female.
Female, yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure, but who knows for sure. I think we fill in
I think so, because didn't she well, even though they kind of just faked it, but when she was in the Clone Wars, where she was working with what's his name from Clan, was it Clan Vizsla or was it Clan Kreese? Remember when she was pretending to be the boyfriend and girlfriend couple in that one episode?
Okay, I remember that. Yeah. She's female. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Red Sun Gamer says, I just want to point out Phase Zero Dark Troopers are also Jango Fett clones that
True indeed.
We're cyborg. That's dope. Ended up committing suicide because they couldn't handle being more machine than man. Is that true?
That I don't know if they did, but yeah. Whew. I know that they were clone, that they were Jango clone. They were spliced with Jango clones and mixed with they were half machine, half man.
Man, I want to see that so bad, dude. Oh, that would be so cool.
Phase Zero.
Yeah, that'd be really, really cool. Let's see here. Baby Yoda goes Jedi or goes Mandalorian? I feel Mando and Baby Yoda have similar origins. Yeah, they kind of do have similar origins. So what do you make of that? What do you think the future is for Baby Yoda, Kallus? You think he's... yeah, go ahead.
I think that Baby Yoda, I tend to believe, or maybe I'm persuaded because I've seen the people talk about it so much now, that he may end up going with Ahsoka because of Ahsoka's new spin-off show. The only thing that I don't think it makes sense for Baby Yoda to remain in The Mandalorian once he has fulfilled his mission, unless, of course, Baby Yoda becomes a Mandalorian, because we know Mandalorian's a culture; it's not a race. So,
right.
Unless they go that route with it, I think it makes more sense for Ahsoka maybe to reject him at first, but to understand that, he needs to stay with her. She as her being force sensitive, and maybe she goes to seek Luke, because during this time period we understand that Luke is trying to build the new Jedi Order, right? So maybe she seeks out Luke, and that begins her new series with Baby Yoda and Ahsoka going to find Luke Skywalker. And that takes him from season 3, takes Baby Yoda out of The Mandalorian, and then we can move to Mandalore, and we can see Din Djarin, whether he's choosing to remain a child of the Watch, or whether he's subscribing to Bo-Katan's new ways, whatever the case may be. How are they establishing the Mandalorians on Mandalore now? Because you can tell that she's dead set on going back.
Yeah.
She's not about... Yeah, she's dead set on going back.
Yeah, it's wild, man. I really don't know what to think with this character. I think it's completely possible that he goes with Ahsoka and goes and does Jedi things. I think that, like, Din... I don't know. Like, I go back and forth on, like, is it a good idea for this little dude to even be with Mando? You know what I mean? Like, is he going to be the reason that Baby Yoda goes dark later on? You know what I mean? Like, that would be kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know what to. I really don't. Even with the stuff that I've heard, I still don't know. This is what's great, is there's still a lot of mystery, right? It's not like they're going to tell you everything in this next episode. So people, we're going to get more teased out. This is the flavor. This is the thing that we're on. I don't. Go ahead.
I just hope they don't pervert the child and make him go dark side, though. My name is Lord Kallus. I do love the dark side, but every time I think of the Yoda species,
you think of the light side,
exactly. They've all been light side, and so I hope that they don't pervert the child in that way. If they did, hey, I'll watch and see how they do it, because it could certainly turn out to be dope as hell. But
it would be bold, would it not?
It would be. He's kind of like the staple for his species. Yoda's species is just like the staple for the light. You know, like when I think of Star Wars and you think of the light side of the Force, there's no one has been more represented than Yoda. I mean, 900 years.
Yeah.
And he did say himself, you don't think when he had that altercation, you don't think I've touched the dark? I do get that, but
yeah, and I think we might learn a little bit more about younger Yoda in the High Republic, and he might not have always been such a chill bro. You know? But I'll tell you, man, part of the reason I want them to do it with Baby Yoda as far as turning him is because the true tragedy of Anakin is so beautiful because so many people loved him, and that only happened within the universe. So unfortunately, from my perspective, not enough people really loved Hayden Christensen's portrayal. Not enough people loved the Younger Bull's portrayal too. So there wasn't enough for the fan base to like love that guy as much as they should have, to make the tragedy really pay off, right? Like, one of the things for me in season 7 is it's heartbreaking to watch Ahsoka be unable to see the truth. Maul is telling her right to her face that Anakin is the key to everything, and she can't accept it. That's tragedy. That's the human experience. And so when it comes to Baby Yoda, the fact that so many people love him, the fact that so many soccer moms have Baby Yoda on their minivan stickers now, I would absolutely love it if they took this character down a dark path, because it will break our hearts.
See, I guess maybe I'm weird in that way, and maybe it's just because I have children. But like a child choosing, so that wouldn't be so tragic to me, because children are subject to their feelings, and the dark side is seductive in that way. We are passionate, right? Children are passionate, and they will respond to how they feel, and so that they're would be easily seduced by the dark side. So to me, that wouldn't necessarily be it wouldn't necessarily be impossible for me to see. His strength in the light would be, because the fact that he was able to, without the Jedi reinforcing him, right, his good behavior, because that's why the children stay good in the temple, if you will, because they've got that reinforced behavior. Or you've got Anakin, who had his mother who was good, you know, her soul was good. But you've got somebody who's a child who's only seeing death, who's only seeing destruction, turmoil, and if that comes to him, how would he then respond? You know, and so it wouldn't be too much of a it wouldn't be too much of a surprise, because he's a child. If he were older, then that would say to me, he's making this choice. So if he, you know what I mean? Like,
right. So I totally get that. And I actually really appreciate that line of thinking. So if he, let's say, got a little bit older or more mature and then made the decision to go to the dark side, then for you it's a little bit more on that like Anakin level of tragedy.
Exactly. Then it's more tragic for me. The tragedy in it with the child is that he's a child, and I wouldn't want to see a child make such decisions, you know, like that would be my issue with it, but not the fact that the child is choosing to respond to his or her emotions, because they're children.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. Great take. Let me knock a couple of these out. Josh I says, and the generous $10 says, a little off subject, but the wife and I are midway through season 1 of Titans on HBO Max, and I gotta say we are enjoying it. Love Doom Patrol, so I gave Titans a chance. Mando is fire. P.S. Take my money. Well, thank you, Josh. I I like Doom Patrol. Don't know if I'm going to check out Titans. Just going to be honest with you. But I'm glad that you are finding enjoyment with that show. You watch any of those shows, Kallus? You a DC guy?
I have not. I leave it. And I just saw my brother in the chat, Fatal J. What's up, my brother Fatal J? I leave that to him. He kills the DC. He does. That Marvel, yeah.
Yo, I love Fatal J, man. He's one of the nicest dudes out, but he's also super entertaining, dude. Super entertaining. Like, I got a feeling like if we were all just chilling together, like having beers or having smoke or something, like he would be the one. You know what I mean? Like he'd be the one that like making everybody laugh. All right, Mike with $5 says, hey, Kallus, love the vid and the lore. So if we follow in a more Legends way, who would you like to fill the role of the crazed clone Jedi Caboth? Or how do I say that name?
Sabayoth.
Sabayoth
is that
Sabayoth. Yeah, so
yeah,
he's the one that was guarding the Emperor's vault initially, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So because, you know, we're doing a lot of Legend stuff. It's possible they go that route. What do you think about that?
So is the question which actor I would like to see do that?
So we could do Ewan and we could do Obi-Wan, but I've seen a lot of people saying they want Mace Windu. So instead of it being a clone of Obi-Wan, it could be a clone of Mace Windu. What do you think of that?
See, if we have Mace back, I want Mace. Because to me, I think Mace survived. Quite honestly, yeah. I mean, when you watch the Clone Wars and you see he and Obi-Wan, remember when they fell through that in the droid factory and they dropped down on those droids?
Yes.
I mean, how high was that?
Right.
And they dropped that. That was a free fall. Free fall.
True.
So I don't believe that. And this just could be just because of my love for Mace, but I don't believe that he wouldn't have been able to manipulate the Force in some way to either slow himself or direct himself into a passing speeder, or this is a megatropolis,
of Force power. You mean just in general in Coruscant? Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, on Coruscant. So there's any place that he didn't necessarily have to fall all the way down to 22. He could have landed anywhere at that point. Also, Mace Windu took his own lightsaber stab to the gut and survived. This guy, he was a beast. Mace Windu was the master of the Order.
Yeah.
Right? He passed that off to Luke. To Yoda.
Yeah.
So I would, if we see Mace, I would prefer to see the real Mace. I don't want to see a clone. I would prefer to see if they would try to bring in Sabayoth. I think Sabayoth's he's doable because he was in the he would have been in one of the novelizations where, what was that, Outbound Flight?
Oh, really? I didn't know about that.
So he was one of the Jedis that was reported dead. And that's the reason why Luke was able to determine that he was the clone, was because Master Sabayoth was reported dead. Yeah.
And Thrawn knew that immediately as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that Sabayoth is doable. I'm beyond the clones. I'm not a fan of cloning.
Okay.
I love the clones for their purpose.
Yeah.
I think that it was great. It was a great part of the story to have the clones against the droids. So I loved the fact Darth Tyrannus. I loved how he recruited Jango Fett. I think that was great. But to just begin, that's one of the reasons why I didn't necessarily. One of the aspects about the Force Unleashed that I didn't like when they went back and cloned him. I didn't like that. I think that just, it takes away from the impact of somebody's death because, okay, we can just clone him.
Yeah,
and now you'll see him again.
And not to mention the fact that isn't the whole deal with Palpatine the fact that it was really hard to create a Force-sensitive clone? Like, that kind of is implied in Episode 9 quite a bit. So, like, if they're able to just have sort of Sabayoth was insane, likely because of the cloning, but
that's exactly why.
Yeah, so you could do something like that. I'll tell you this. It's a really fun idea, bro. I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah,
And
I wouldn't hate it.
what if we've already met the new Sabaoth? That's all I'll say. Okay, Dan the Man says, Lord Kallus,
man.
I have destroyed your enemies and forged for you a Sith army. Now hold up your end of the bargain and show me the true nature of the Force.
Man, I love that. Yeah. That just warms my heart when I hear people talk like that.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. That's good kitchen talk for Lord Kallus. Let's see here. I have one more. Right? Jonathan Velasquez says he's already dipped dark. He used the Force to steal. That's true. He did steal the cookies, and he Force choked Kara. I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you cannot blame him. He's a child. Children, they just react off of their emotions. So him doing that was completely in line with his character as a child. You can't look at it like, oh, this guy's using the dark side. No, he's a child that, some people have some badass kids, think about if those kids had the Force, what they would be doing. And even quote unquote good kids, they still have temper tantrums. They still feel, and they sometimes they don't necessarily know how to react from those feelings. So they cry, or they go in the room and they punch something, or they throw a fit right there on the ground, So he's a child. You just gotta, that's how I see Baby Yoda. So his actions right now, to me, do not take away from his affinity to the Force because he's a child.
Yeah. No, I like that, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to think about it for sure. Let's see here. We got Josh I says, my wife says nerd love is true love. True that, Josh I. True that, man. Appreciate you. Well, I tell you, man, I think we're going to wrap it here, but tell the people about your channel. We're hoping to have you on another lore video coming out maybe even this weekend or something. So I know you and I stay on the, well, I'll give you another call.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you another call after I wrap up here.
Okay.
But yeah, anything you want to plug to the people?
Well, I mean, I appreciate you having me. I'm excited to be in the hold up in the Nerdvengers Tower in the library, or the archives, if you will. And let's just try to keep this lore going. I thank you for having me, bro, and I appreciate you hosting my vid.
Of course, and I appreciate you too. I hope people are going to check out Kallus's YouTube channel. He does a lot of great stuff, and he's got a back catalog of a ton of great stuff. And if you're ever interested, man, go over there, mess around. You'll get learned up real good.
Thank you, bro.
Of course, brother. All right, man, I'm going to give you a call in a second, but I'm going to let you go for now, okay?
Alrighty.
All right, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to do it for us today. Man, I love talking Star Wars with Kallus. What a knowledgeable dude, man. So, just to wrap it up, everybody, put a little bow on it. I will be doing a singular spoilery video tomorrow, and then there will be a series of videos coming out after the episode releases. We're about to get our minds completely blown away. I am so excited for this episode. I'm so excited for the Star Wars fan base. This is going to be a really cool moment for all of us. A lot of conversations to be had, a lot of speculation to be had. I think it's going to be really, really cool. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. And as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.